Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. The new update is out, and what that means is there is a bunch more changes to it from the dev server. So I thought we would talk about it and kind of go through all of the different stuff that is sat in the files, and also maybe some of the changes I didn't get to on the dev server. So if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's just get into it. The first vehicle I want to talk about is the Coelian, or the Flak Panzer 341 as it's known nowadays. So you may know that this thing got some new guns, the 37mm Gerat 341 cannons, and on top of that it got this new round, this APHE PZGR round, which pens up to 87mm of armor. It also has 37.4 grams of TNT equivalent, meaning that it does quite a lot of damage. And just to kind of show you what's going on with this vehicle right now, if you actually shoot a target over here, you'll see how much kind of splash damage it does to them, which is pretty crazy. You can see here the amount of splash that the round does on vehicles is just nuts. And against like T-34s, for example, you can, if you pen, just absolutely one-tap them, and this means that this vehicle is just in an insane place in terms of it, because the amount of kind of shrapnel damage that happens with this vehicle is just nuts now. So this vehicle is going to be really annoying to fight, and guess what? Since it's a fake vehicle, you never get access to it. So unless you are a veteran player, you won't get this vehicle, and that sucks. So yeah, watch out for this one in games. You'll see a lot of experienced players wandering around with it, and it will do a lot of damage to you. Another one I want to kind of show is the Comanche. On the dev server, the updated cockpit was kind of there, but it wasn't fully there. Now it is fully there. So I just thought we would just take a second just to kind of show you what it looks like. And by fully there, by the way, of course, the multifunction menus are breaking, but apart from that, everything is good to go. So it just looks really nice. Talking about issues with this update, my machine is definitely having some performance issues with this update, and it shouldn't be having any performance issues with this update. I have a pretty good rig, one of the better ones that you can get, and yeah, unfortunately I'm running into frame drops and other issues. Hopefully they get solved during the week. As always with these things, it is kind of annoying in terms of how these are set up. So let's continue. The first change for ground I kind of want to talk about is the simple RAM for the Americans. So you know how they added the RAM 1 for the British? Well, there is the RAM 2, which is in the American tech tree. It's this one right here. Now, what they've done with the RAM 2 in the American tech tree is they've given it the same armor values as the RAMs in the British tech tree. So they've updated it to volumetric, and then also made it all, variably thick. So they're now all exactly the same, which is quite nice. There was a few changes to the T58 as well, the new premium that's come in. Not huge changes compared to the ones that we saw on the dev server, but the basic changes are they've changed the max speed from 35.05 kilometers an hour to 35.02. So a huge change. They've also changed the reverse speed as well, very, very slightly. The biggest change that they've done to this vehicle is actually the suspension. The suspension is very different compared to what it was before, which of course affects gun stabilization and that vertical speed. So hopefully it won't affect it too much, and hopefully it'll be all right. There is also some other changes in terms of some vehicles, such as the PLZ. So they've actually added in a new explosive type, and it's only right now on the PLZ 05, but I'm pretty sure it'll be on others that's around the place. So you can see here it has the DHL1, which is kind of funny with DHL being the transportation company, but what this means is it has slightly different setup compared to TNT. So it has a little bit more penetration. So now this round, instead of having 60.4, it has 62.92. It also has a slightly different setup in terms of how much equivalent it has. And this round now has 10.92 kilos of TNT equivalent. So this will definitely be overpressuring everything that you can see. And that's, one of those things that's going to be kind of annoying. But then again, the PLZ 05 is a very fantastic vehicle for that type of playstyle. If you haven't ever given it a go, highly recommend it. A lot of helicopters got their kind of amounts of fuel and flight models slightly changed, but they're very, very tiny ones. There was quite a big change to the Ghibli, though, the A11 AMX. So if you don't know what the Ghibli is, it's kind of like a strike aircraft that came in a while ago. You can see here the AMX Ghibli, but the one that they've actually changed is this one, which is the AMX A1. The actual targeting pod, oh no, sorry, it's the standard one, my bad. The targeting pod, they've actually changed on it, so this will actually affect it quite a lot in terms of what it does. Basically, the sight zoom, instead of being 6.15 to 23 times, it is now going to be 12.28 to 98.21 times. This is the same change they've also done to the Italian Tornado and also the Mirage 2000. So this CLDP pod got a massive buff, and being a thermal pod and also being able to get munitions in, it's going to be very, very good at the highest echelons of the game. They also removed all of the radars from the A7s just because they just don't work. They never have. They've never been functional. So they've kind of just left them there. Another change or another thing to update on is the B66B, right? So they haven't technically changed anything about it in terms of its modifications or stuff like that. But just to let you know, unfortunately, they haven't added in the tracking radar for the guns on the back. So hopefully it gets in, but at least right now it doesn't seem to be the case, which is kind of sad because I was looking forward to it. There are a few other changes to jets where they have added stuff in though, starting off with the JF-17. So this vehicle, the Pakistani one, it actually now has a more system. It has the SE2 system. So that is kind of fun. You'll actually find it not in the modifications though, so you'll probably get access to it straight away. But yeah, so this now has a MAW system, and then also there is an RWR which has been added to a lot of Russian aircraft, basically of the the MiG-17 family. So all of the MiG-17s and also all of the derivatives. You can see here they have the SBO2 RWR now. So MiG-17 and then stuff like the LIM-5P, the PF, the AS, all of them have that kind of setup. The Yak-28B, they have continued to unfortunately nerf this thing again. Basically what they've done is the right countermeasure pod is now hidden on the model, so you just can't see it anymore, kind of making you forget that it ever existed in the first place, which is, you know, once again kind of sad. And there was a few changes in terms of helicopters and their RWRs, changing what they're able to see and what they're not able to see, mainly down to like AH-64s. So you know how the AH-64 is in a lot of tech trees, so they've just kind of moved around what their radar can do, and obviously by playing those you will be able to work out what's going on with them. The F-14's also got a buff, which is quite nice. These things have gone up in BR a bunch of times, mainly because their missiles got buffed up the wazoo. But basically with the F-14s, what can happen with them now is the countermeasures can be dropped in individual single file. So that means that you don't drop too many at once, and you can now control a bit better how much you can set up. The Harrier GR7, the Harrier GR Mark 7 can actually carry a little bit more now in terms of its custom loadout changes. And then also the good old J10A has had some of its loadout changes changed too. Basically, what they've done is they've added a few more bombs to it instead of what was there previously, which was not too much. And if I can remember where the J10A is. So the bombs themselves, they've actually increased the 250s up to 4 250s. So on the outer pylons now, you can actually carry 2 instead of 4. And then also they've done the same with the 500s. So you're able to carry just more of these things across the board, which I think is actually quite nice if you bomb in the J10. But let's be honest, bombing in the J10 isn't the best idea. They have also changed something on the Z10ME. You may remember we talked about the Fire Snakes, the FS70As. They've actually removed the loadout of it, and you can see here it's kind of disappeared. So those FS70s, like you have these right here, the 28s, but basically it seems like they've removed like a lot onto them. They've removed like the modifications and all that, and it's just kind of gone. Very sad to see that that's the case. Another thing to also mention, there's a few other things in the files that are kind of just sat there, such as camouflages and other parts. There's a new engine model, which is the J7A13. That's for the B66 though. And then also there is a new decoration, which is a Robo Dog. This is the Robo Dog that is in Active Matter, so I'm guessing they're going to do a second round of Twitch drops for Active Matter. If they don't, we'll see, but that seems to be the new thing that's going to kind of go on. They also changed some pictures, which is really nice for the Tiger 2P, changing what it looks like here. And also remember, they changed its name just because, you know, they're making it a bit more formal. There's also some other camos, which are sat around the place. You have all of the new ones, which, of course, if you didn't know, you can actually check now. So you can, you know, type in whatever you want, and then it will turn up. Here's the CF-188 camos that are there. But there is also a Spitfire F Mark 14E camo, which is sat in the files. This is actually for the RAF Kuala Lumpur 1946. It's known as the SM888. So maybe we'll have another event about it, or it'll be a Twitch drop camo. Remember, when it comes to the esports stuff, they're going to be doing their tournament probably this weekend or next weekend that will have access to some Twitch drop stuff. And then also the FA-18C late will have a Thrustmaster camo, so that's also turning up too. So that's the general changes compared to the dev server. Of course, as always, there will be more going forward, more changelogs and more things going about, so don't worry, I'll make sure to cover them for you. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.